Hi, I'm Pete. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're back in the workshop and we're starting a new project. A local kitchen design firm asked me to build these floating shelves. So, let's get started and let's have some fun. This is the first time I'm building floating shelves, so you'll get to follow along step by step as I go through the process. The contractor requested I build a floating shelf that will slide over a 2x2 frame that he'll install on the kitchen wall. I'm to build 3 identical shelves to these dimensions. The contractor is providing pre-finished plywood which will match the new cabinetry. These plywood sheets get delivered and they seem to be packaged pretty well. But once I remove the packaging material, I notice there's some issues. There's lots of scratches and blemishes on the finish of the plywood. I alert my client, but he says not to worry. He'll just touch up paint the shelves when they're done. With that issue resolved, it's time to start cutting. Here's my cutting plan for both sheets of plywood. I'll be making most of these cuts with my Makita track saw. Here's a link to my review of the Makita track saw. Once all the project pieces are cut, it's time to cut 45-degree bevel edges to all the pieces. I'll once again be using the track saw. Cutting bevels with the track saw requires a bit more force. Before cutting, I made sure I put a fresh coat of wax on the track and the base of the saw and made sure the track was clamped down. This helps the saw glide smoothly through the cut and keeps the track from shifting during the cuts. With the bevel cuts complete, I double check for squareness. Here's another tip. After you cut bevels, be careful handling your pieces. The edges are very sharp and can cause cuts. Cutting bevels with a track saw on narrow strips is nearly impossible. I attached the bevel strip to a straight flat board using some double-sided tape. I then make a precise bevel cut on the table saw. With all the bevel cuts complete, I do a light sanding on all those sharp edges. I'll now rip the 3 large main pieces in half to create the top and bottom of the floating shelves. I'm using painter's tape to prevent chip out at the table saw. With the shelf tops and bottoms ripped to size, it's now time for assembly. The shelf pieces will be glued together per this drawing. I decide to try the miter fold method for gluing up these floating shelves. I line up the mitered edges and apply some painter's tape to hold them together. I test out the first joint and it looks like it's going to work. So let's finish taping up the top, bottom, and front of shelf number 1. Now is the time to make sure the top and bottom are coplanar and square with the front. I use some scrap 2x material and some shims. Once I'm satisfied with the fit, I tape the shims in place so I don't lose the precise positioning. I'll now apply a liberal amount of wood glue to the mitered edges. Here you can see why it's called the miter fold method. After double checking everything for squareness, I apply clamps and let the glue set up overnight. I do this for all 3 shelves. Once the glue is set up, it's time to install the side pieces. I'm using Titebond Quick and Thick to attach the side pieces. This glue does a good job holding the small pieces in place and has a much faster cure time. I give the glue a couple hours to set up, and then it's time to do a final sanding on all the joints. And with that, the shelves are ready for delivery to my client for final touch-up painting and installation. And here they are installed in the client's kitchen project. This project presented some unique challenges, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons. Considering these are my very first floating shelves, I think they came out really well. That being said, I'd love to hear your feedback. I really look forward to reading your comments and suggestions. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to hit like, and please subscribe for future videos. Thanks again for stopping by, and thanks again for watching.